Welcome to another episode of the HR Champions podcast. And joining us for today is Miss Gladys Punzalan. Miss Gladys is the People and Culture Manager at FlexiSource IT, an IT services and IT consulting company based in Makati. So thank you so much, Miss Gladys, for taking time to be part of this podcast.
And thank you, Homer, for inviting me to represent the company. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a great experience talking to you today.
Oo naman, syempre. Okay, so before I dive into my HR questions to you, can you give like a quick walkthrough lang of your career in HR?
Okay, so I actually started my journey in HR, if I remember it correctly, specializing in training and development back in 2008. I worked for a BPO, multinational BPO, and that time we were supporting around 21,000 employees
Mm-hmm.
in the Asia Pacific region alone. And globally, we were at 30,000 headcount. So that's where my HR career actually started.
Okay. So was it kailan mo na-realize na or when did it come na naging conscious decision that you want to pursue a career in HR? Kasi I was looking at your LinkedIn experiences. So ang galing, you started from an employee and then you progress up to now as a culture and people manager. So
Mm.
how was it? Ano yung naging ano sa'yo? What inspired you to pursue this your career in this field?
Oo. Actually, lahat na siya, it happened unexpectedly. When I was,
Talaga?
when I was little, I would want to be a newscaster kasi I would see reporter on TV and I really like to do that.
Aha.
And then, when I went to college, sabi ng mama ko, walang masyadong career sa newscaster, mag-engineering ka. So, I took up, alam mo na, yung mga mother before,
Oo.
parents in general. So, I took up a computer engineering course. And then, sabi ko, no, gusto ko talaga maging newscaster. So, at some
Mm.
point, I became a local radio DJ. And then, I was also an event host for some time. Actually, hanggang ngayon, nakahiatus lang ako. But, I would still get some gig for hosting events, ganon. Pero
Mhm.
ngayon, dahil nga I have a full-time employment, focusing on my HR role. So, ganun pala, no, your dream will never die. It will stay with you, and at some point, you will,
Oo.
the universe
Will
or the Lord
conspire.
will lead you to, yeah, it will lead you to something that will actually make you fulfill that dream. So,
Mhm.
local radio DJ ako. And that is actually where I met my husband. We were co-DJs before. And I was a working college student. I work at McDonald's. I was a part-time crew, service crew, and I was part of the party and marketing team. So
Mm.
that's where all it started. And then I said, oh, I think I have to level up my career. Hindi pwedeng sa McDonald's lang ako noon. So I tried to apply in Manila kasi Bataan-based talaga ako. Sabi ko parang, kasi during that time, medyo popular yung call center industry.
Boom.
Okay, so popular yung call center industry, yes. And yung mga big players nun dati, mga siguro 3, 5 lang sila. So I
Mm.
applied and then unfortunately hindi ako nakukuha. I'm not sure kung baka but I always sa final interview. I would always make it to the final interview. And then one day I got a call from a small stock brokerage firm to make some outbound calls. So kinuha ko siya.
Mhm.
And then during that time as well, there was a program under GMA, the former president GMA. It's called Call Center Academy Program. Yung tuturuan kanilang magkaroon
Okey,
ng
oo.
accent, tuturuan kanilang mag-call center agent. So I
Mm.
took advantage of that, and after you graduate kasi they will endorse you to a partner BPO. And that's where I started my career as a call center agent. And during that time, I would miss some holidays like Christmas, New Year, and I was telling myself, this is not something that I want to do. I want to be with my
Oo.
family during this important days.
Mm.
So, naganap ako ng opening. So, it happened unexpectedly. I didn't plan for a career in HR. When I decided to transition to a different career from being a call center agent, there was an open position in HR and training. And
Okay.
that position was for an instructional designer. So we were assigned to create some training materials, manual, ganyan. We will train the trainers. So I applied, and
Mm.
luckily I got hired for the position. Tapos, I resigned from the company because I decided to just pursue my event management business, like I've mentioned
Mm.
earlier. Tapos, my former boss or my former colleague called me. Sabi niya, Gladys, there's an opening in HR, and I believe that you are fit for the role. Because
Mm.
that opening was actually for a senior manager or manager for employee engagement. And during that time, the employee engagement in the company in that company was defined as creating events,
Mhm.
corporate events, creating mini programs for the employees for the different accounts. So I became part of the corporate HR team in that BPO, and eventually I ended up leading the team of corporate HR. So the
Mhm.
corporate HR would consist of an person in charge of onboarding, offboarding, promotion, or natural career progression, labor relation, rewards and recognition.
Mm.
So I just realized na, oy, andito na ako. Nasa HR na ako.
Oo.
Tapos, when they restructured internally, I became part of the global team. Tapos I was telling my family, how did I end up here? Sabi ko, paano ako naging
Hmm.
HR from being an events manager, from wanting to be a newscaster, reporter, a DJ, to being an HR?
Mm.
Then I told myself, since I'm already here, I think it's better that I pursue a degree. So I went back to school. I took up BSBA, Human Resources Development and Management in San Sebastian. So that's my journey to the HR career that I actually took from, from being wanting to be a DJ and newscaster to being the head of people and culture in the company.
Galing, galing. In your case, ang galing, no? From DJ to events manager, tapos ngayon nasa HR ka na. So,
Yes.
in total, how many years do you have under your belt sa HR? Kung 28,
Since I start 2008,
8,
siguro 2008,
16,
mga pa 16 years na ngayon.
16. Wow.
Collectively, kasama yung
Oo,
training
yes.
and development. Yes, pa 16 na siya.
Very nice. Collectively 16
Yun.
years. Wow, grabe. So in those 16
Mm-mm.
years, I'm sure you have gained and developed certain skills that made you successful
Mm.
sa field ng HR. So in your opinion, what would be the top 3 skills that that are must-haves or essentials for HR practitioners to also succeed sa HR field?
Ito lagi ko sinasabi sa team ko, number one, you should have empathy. Kailangan
Hmm.
marunong kang, kasi kahit naman sa call center, when I was a customer service representative, laging sinasabi, di ba, empathy. You have to empathize. You should know where the customer is coming from. I think it's the same sa HR because your customers are your employees.
Yeah.
And of course, the management, the company. Cliche man siya, gasgas man siya, but you really have to put yourself in other person's shoes. And di ba nga ang golden rule, do not do to others what you do not want others do unto
Do
you.
unto
And it's
you.
teaching us empathy. For me, sa lahat ng bagay, kailangan meron kang empathy.
Mhm.
But while having that, you should also be able to strike a balance between the business requirement and what is fair to the employee. So now that's a number one skill. And number two, I think is kailangan mataas yung EQ mo. Yung emotional intelligence mo dapat mataas siya.
Yes.
You should learn to manage your emotions in order to make a wise decision. You
Mhm.
should make decision objectively, not emotionally. In this line of work, may instances na nasisigawan kami nung mga employees that may mga grievances.
Mhm.
Pag nasa Dolly kami representing the company, for the most part, nagagalit sa amin, 'di ba? Because we
Mm.
represent the company, and it's
Yeah, yeah.
it's it's re- it's something that is normal with this line of field or line of work. So that's the number two. And you have to set your personal emotions aside. Kasi if you take
Mhm.
it personally, baka maubos ka. Parang, bakit ka
Yeah.
nagagalit sa akin? Or your human instinct is either you flight or you fight. Most of the time, you'll fight, diba? So, you really have to have a high EQ. And third, you have to be agile.
Mm.
Sa IT field, very familiar ang agile methodology. And I think sa lahat ng aspeto in all different type of careers, you really have to be agile, especially in this digital era. You
Mm.
should be able to support different group, lalo kung nag-cater ka sa isang global company, different client from different countries with different
Mm.
nationalities, background, and culture. And as an HR practitioner, you should be capable of navigating changes sa innovation, sa strategy, di ba? Because the digital era is a rapidly evolving environment. Whether you like it or not, you should innovate and you should go with the flow.
Exactly.
And adding the factor na yung labor laws natin paiba-iba.
Iba-iba, oo.
Yes. So, yun yung top 3 for me. You should have empathy, you should have high IQ or emotional intelligence, and agility. Yan.
Nice. Thank you for sharing. Can't agree more on those 3. Sige, Miss Gladys, my next question to you. Ano yung hardest or toughest challenge that you've had in your HR career? Being an HR leader.
Una, I agree with you. It's really a challenging role. Medyo challenging task maging
Oo,
HR.
ibang klase.
Oo, very challenging yan. And bukod sa top skills, kailangan marami kang patience. Marami kang baong pasensya, sabi nga nila. And I think yung pinaka-challenging about being an HR is working with different people from different culture.
Yeah.
Kasi iba-iba sila eh. Iba-iba sila ng background, iba sila ng konteksto, iba-iba sila ng gusto, 'di ba? So, like in a BPO setting, lalo kung multinational company, you'll be working with people na hindi mo kabisado, 'di ba? Like there will be people from Europe, from US, from Asia, and it's challenging because you should be able to engage them, and most importantly you should be able to represent your region. Like in my case, during the time with that big BPO, I was representing the Asia Pacific region.
Ipak.
So can you imagine when I talk to people from the other part of the world or the other side of the world, I should be able to represent my region and create a program or get their buy-in para they would also agree or they would approve my request, which is fit for the region or for kasi it's really difficult. Mahirap i-represent. Kaya nga parang yung sa Miss Universe, 'di ba? Very diverse yung group.
Yes.
And yung burden to the challenge of representing your country, it's really difficult. And I think in this environment of multinational setup, challenging siya. Kasi walang one size fits all approach pagdating sa mga ganitong
Yes.
bagay.
Oo.
Yeah, you have to navigate relationship with your colleagues from different countries. Ibang culture. Tapos you have global operation. Tapos iba-iba pa sila ng pinanggagalingan. And again, dito nga lang sa atin, 'di ba? Like in our case, iba yung culture ng taga Luzon, taga Visayas, taga Mindanao. Also the way they speak, 'di ba? Minsan
Yes.
yung iba mas madiin magsalita. So
Yung iba
mas iba
malumanay,
sila
di ba?
yes. And factor in mo pa iba-ibang personality ng tao that you have to deal with. So I think that's the biggest challenging, navigating relationship with colleagues from different culture and background.
Galing. So throughout the years, I'm sure you have developed that adaptability na.
Sana. Sana.
Ongoing
I'd like to
process
say
naman
so.
yan eh, di ba? Ongoing
Yes.
process
So,
for...
yeah. A work in progress, lagi
Yeah,
kong
yun.
sinasabi.
Yes, work in
Yes, work in
progress.
progress tayo
That's
lagi.
the key, work in progress. Okay, so let's move on naman, Ms. Gladys, into employee retention. Kasi there's a recent survey, actually a survey last year wherein yung HR community was part of that survey wherein yung pinakamahirap challenges for HR teams are recruitment, employee engagement, and then employee retention. So those
Mm.
three are interrelated naman, 'di ba?
Yes.
Pero sa akin kasi nung una ko na ano 'yun, I thought it was recruitment na pinakamahirap. Kasi that's the time wherein si HR will try their best to sell the company to the applicants, 'di ba? You have
Mm.
yung pool of talents, hindi lang naman ang daming nagko-compete for that pool, 'di ba? And for HR,
Correct.
kailangan best foot forward, best offer lagi, 'di ba? We have this sign-in bonus, we have this
Mm.
ano ba, we have these activities, we have these benefits, and so on and so on. But it turned out, based dun sa survey, top 3 lang yon. Mas mahirap si employee engagement and si employee retention,
Retention.
'di ba? So
Mm.
in your I want to know your take on that. Kung bakit employee retention yung pinaka-challenging for HR.
Actually, na-mention mo na siya kasi there is really a scarcity of talent, specifically in the IT field.
Mm.
And I really agree that it's the most challenging task for HR. Siya yung top one talaga. So, when I decided to further my study, it required me to work on a thesis.
Mhm.
And bragging rights, sige, bragging right na
Go.
ako. In my batch, I got the best thesis award.
Mm.
I selected that topic, retention and its determinants, as the subject.
Okay. Naka-publish ba
Yes.
'yan?
Not yet, pero I have the book. Actually, it's with me. Ayan, tinago ko
Talaga?
siya. And it focuses on software developers. So, I made that for the benefit of the company. The name of the study is Retention Determinants of Software Developers in FlexiSource IT.
Hmm.
And it focuses on our employees kasi like 70 to 80% of our employees are software developers.
Mhm.
So in essence, my study suggests that employees tend to stay when they feel connected to both the
Hmm.
organization and the community. So yes, it's challenging retention, especially in the fields with limited talent availability. But companies
Hmm.
play a vital role. So,
Mhm.
paano siya nagkakaroon ng vital role? Human resource must conduct insightful assessment or in their personnel. There is such thing as called people science. Ayun yung nalaman ko sa thesis ko.
Mhm.
People science is actually trying to assess your workforce, the people that you're working for and the people you work with. We have to, as HR, we have to conduct insightful assessments of their personnel, of our personnel and offer customized solutions. Hindi siya pwedeng one size fits all approach. And
Mm.
to retain employees, it's crucial to understand them better. You have to know their profile, their background, their interests before you create any retention program.
Mm.
You cannot just assume na, ay, aalis sila kasi pangit yung benefit ko. What if umaalis sila because they don't feel the link dun sa organization at saka sa community?
Mm.
So, that's what I actually found out during my thesis and my study.
Mm.
So,
Actually,
mahirap si retention, yes, I agree. Because, ayun nga, makakahanap ka eh. The challenge is, how do you keep them? How do you keep them engaged? How do you make sure that their morale is always high? Because a happy employee is a productive employee.
mm. Yeah. Actually, fresh insight sa akin yun, na mas mahirap pala ang employee retention for for a limited for scarcity of talent. Tama ba yung understanding ko?
Yes, yes. Lalo sa
Ah,
IT, because in the IT industry nowadays, ayan ang emerging profession right now. Whether we like it or
oo.
not, people will keep
Yes.
developing softwares to make our life easier. Di ba? Diyan si AI. And AI use a specific language called Python. Python is
Mm.
a language na dati parang nakaset aside lang, ngayon nire-reactivate siya. So, yung mga needs ng mga tao ngayon, minsan ang tawag namin alien requirement na. Kasi hybrid na eh. May
Okay.
ganitong language, may background sa ganito,
Oo.
kailangan full stack siya, alam niya yung ganito. So, it's really, it's hybrid. The profession is emerging and the talents are not enough. Kasi hindi
Mhm.
naman dahil nag-graduate ka ng computer science, alam mo na yung language eh. No. You know
Yes.
the foundation, you know the basic,
Oo.
but it will take time for you to study a specific language. More so, sasabihin nung client mo, ay, kailangan pa namin ng ibang skill set bukod dyan.
Yes, oo. Actually, yun yung naging curious ako eh. Kasi 'di ba, for
Mm.
nothing against BPO ano, but for BPO for agents, 'di ba, very minimum lang naman yung requirements nila. And then the training
Mm.
comes in. But for IT professionals, like what you said, hindi lang enough na graduate ka ng IT and you ano, 'di ba? You have that skill set eh. Kaya pala siya talagang limited lang yung ano. I mean, yung pool of talents. Hindi ganoon ka-deep. And then ano pa, ang dami pa nag-aagawan, 'di ba?
Yes. And in fact, when we talk to our client in Australia, they're telling us that the Australian government is working with the other Asian country like India and the Philippines and
Mhm.
Vietnam to open migration for IT talents. I think they're forecasting around 200,000 individuals who can fill the IT role in Australia alone, if I
Migrating,
remember it correctly.
meaning kung tama understanding ko, so kukuha sila dito sa Philippines and then they're going to migrate in.
Yes, yes. And most of our
Ah,
employees are really migrating ganun kabilis ang mga IT and software developers makaalis ng bansa because of this scarcity that I've mentioning.
talaga?
Kaya very important sa amin ng retention. More than anything else, retention talaga yung focus ng company.
Parang napaisip, parang gusto ko mag-aral ulit ng ng
Mag-IT.
IT ah.
And I'm telling you, the pay is ano
Very
talaga,
attractive.
it's competitive.
Talaga? Oo nga, kasi may
Mm.
nakikita akong lagi sa feed ko. Ano naman,
Mm.
cybersecurity. Yun yung
Yeah, that's yes,
lagi
that's
kong nakikita. Okay, sige. Siguro another set of or another episode 'to, yung
Oo,
pag dinet
magdadala na tayo ng IT
oo,
professional
ano
para
tayo
mas
ng guest ng
ma-discuss.
ng IT
Oo, IT.
professional.
Oo.
Okay, sige. My next question, let's move naman, Miss Gladys, into the diversity and inclusion. Kasi 'di ba,
Sure.
can you share like a practical strategy wherein yung workforce, kasi yung workforce
Mm.
ngayon ano na 'di ba? It's very diverse in a sense na iba't ibang generation na yung present. 'Di ba?
Mm.
You have now, you have your Gen Zs, tapos millennials,
Mm.
tapos baby boomers, 'di ba?
Mm.
And each
Mhm.
generation has their own, sabihin na nating blind spots and bright spots, 'di
Mm.
ba? So iba-iba yung traits, iba't iba yung characteristics. And
Mhm.
like what you've said kanina, walang one program catch all.
One size fits all.
One
Yeah.
size fits
Mhm.
all,
Yes.
walang ganon. So you have to really consider and
Mhm.
analyze your population, 'di ba? So
Mhm.
as an HR, can you share a practical strategy on how you can lead
Mhm.
a multi-generational workforce?
Mhm. I think I'd just like to mention that part of my study is yan, yung multi-generational workforce.
Mhm.
Apparently, it's the millennials who are dominating the workforce at this point.
Yeah.
And we are labeled, kasama ako dyan as the
Tayo.
job hopping generation. Yes, tayo. Job
No,
hopping generation daw tayo.
that's one of the ano, 'di
Eh,
ba? Blind spot.
yes, tayo daw ay job hopping generation. We are ano tayo, very familiar tayo with the digital era. Ayan,
Mhm.
sabi. Tapos we can easily adapt. Pero to answer your question, yes, each generation comes with unique characteristics and
Mhm.
backgrounds. And for an HR practitioner, I think the best practice that I can share is, like I've mentioned earlier, the approach should be suitable with each generation, especially when engaging with them. Kagaya
Yes.
ng uulitin natin, walang one size fits all. You should really know your customer. Let me give you an example. When we are trying to talk to an employee for a staff relation matter, iba yung approach mo sa millennial, sa Gen Z, iba sa baby boomer. And kung makikita mo yung TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, you will see some quote-unquote social influencers.
Mhm.
Ginagaya nila kung paano magsalita or mag-HR yung Gen Z, kapag Gen X. Kasi kailangan alam mo sila on their characteristics, you should know. When you're
Mhm.
talking to baby boomer, hindi ka pwedeng gumamit dyan ng mga technical terms. Baka hindi ka
Oo.
niya maintindihan, lalo pag computer related, 'di ba?
Mm.
And kung mga millennials naman, kailangan alam mo din what what would make them motivated and engaged. And like I've mentioned earlier, dun sa study ko, gusto nila, nakalink sila sa organization tsaka sa community. Si Gen Z, baka iba yung motivation nila. So, it all boils down to people science. Just know your customer as an HR practitioner.
Agree.
Mm-mm.
Siguro what I can say is same goal, different approach. Tama ba?
Yes. Mm-mm.
Okay. Anyway, sige. My next question, ito ma'am, let's talk about health. Kasi
Mm.
'di ba, attention has been given to great attention actually was given to the physical and mental health ng mga employees, especially in the recent years, 'di ba? Because of
Mm.
the
Mm.
COVID. For
Mm.
mental health, 'di ba, nandiyan yung talagang nag-boom yung mga mental wellness seminars, 'di ba, mga webinars to prevent employees from burnout. And yung parang sudden change in work,
Mm.
'di ba? For the physical health naman, there are
Mm.
companies na talagang nag-invest ng I'm not sure kung na-experience mo, nag-invest ng funds for vitamins, for boosters, for face
Mm.
mask, for alcohol, 'di ba? That's the yun yung talagang pinagtuunan ni company ng attention. But one thing that we have observed na parang na set aside or was not highlighted was the financial health ni employees. Kasi that's the time
Mm.
also na maraming na layoff, maraming nagsarang companies. So
Mm.
employees were
Mm.
really
Mm.
talagang depleted when it comes to their financial resources. May mga naubos yung
Mm.
savings kasi wala nang trabaho.
Mm.
So how do you see now financial health as a focal point when HR is trying to come up with new engagement and retention programs na si financial health naman yung focus natin?
Mhm. Actually, it's timely because I've been coming across some online articles indicating about financial stress. I know
Yeah.
sabi ko kanina, dapat hindi mo sasama yung personal emotion mo. But you know what, personally, um, I'm sorry I have to say this, baka may hindi ibang mag-agree. Sometimes money can really buy happiness. Kasi yung iba, di ba, ang old teaching, money cannot buy happiness. So, it can buy you peace of mind. Because in this world, kailangan mo ng pera para mabuhay.
Mhm.
And maybe it's not really the money that is evil. You have to use it as a tool. So whether we like
Exactly.
it or not, money is important and it's a tool. Don't prioritize it over relationship, 'di ba? So first we have to accept that fact that money is important. And may nabasa ako dun sa online article. The study suggests that there's a considerable time wasted worrying about money issues sa workplace. Let me
Mhm.
give you an example. Ako na lang, sige, work from home nanay ako.
Okay.
Nagtatrabaho ako dito, 'di ba? Or for example, I'm writing a policy. Tapos maisip ko, ay, naka-due na pala yung bill ko. Or nag-pop up sa somewhere, sa email ko or sa
Nag-notification?
phone ko, yung bill, 'di ba?
Uh-huh.
So, can you imagine the stress that will bring me kung wala akong pambayad? So, parang affected yung work ko, affected yung productivity ko, like what the article is saying. And I would totally agree if the companies would also promote, apart from physical health and mental health, as part of the employee welfare and well-being, if they should put a parallel focus on financial health and literacy
Mhm.
to prevent employer-wise, to prevent decline in productivity
Mhm.
and boost employee morale and company culture. Kasi it's crucial to assist employees in making informed financial decision eh. The problem with the generation now, they have disposable income as what we call it.
Mhm.
May mga disposable income sila eh. Ang lalaki ng sweldo na, imagine na 20 plus years old in the IT field, you can earn six
Oo.
figures.
Yes.
'Di ba?
Oo.
Oo. Sa IT kasi actually we don't look at the academic credentials. We look at your skills.
Skills.
Kung gaano ka versed doon sa isang language na kailangan. Tapos ang pera mo pa forex. So pag kinonvert mo sa PH sa peso, mas malaki 'yan. So they have
Mhm.
disposable income. And if the person or the employee, a Gen Z or a millennial or madalas Gen Z to, hindi well-informed on how to handle finances, mabilis siyang mawala, kaya nga
Mhm.
disposable income. And the company will, like I've mentioned, it will, like na-mention mo rin, it will play an important role in educating people on how to make financial decision. Like when we do that in our organization, naalala ko may isang nag-present. Ang ganda nung hierarchy na ginawa niya. Kung may Maslow's hierarchy, may hierarchy siya. Sabi
Mhm.
doon sa ilalim, you have emergency fund para for emergencies, mawalan ka ng work or kailangan mo for some reason kailangan mo mag-stop sa work. Susunod doon yung health insurance mo kasi not just for the HMO coverage, also for critical illnesses.
Mhm.
After that, you should also build your life insurance. Lalo kung
Mhm.
breadwinner ka, 'di ba? And after that, that's the time you can only build your assets. But at the bottom of the pyramid are your basic needs: food, shelter, tsaka clothing. So, sobrang natatandaan ko yun until now. And I'm hoping that lahat sana ng employees may ganong, what you call this, they have that same knowledge and
Mm.
awareness. Ganito pala magtabi ng pera.
Mm.
So, yon. And again, companies play an important role, and the employees' well-being should not only be limited to physical and mental wellness. Kailangan kasama yung financial wellness para marunong
Mm.
sila humawak ng income nila.
Yes, can't agree more on that, Miss Gladys. Curious lang ako dun sa kasi 'di ba na-mention mo kanina about the disposable income.
Yes.
Is it true na I'm not sure kung true, but for IT personnel, ano ba 'to? Usually ba ang demographics or mga single ba 'tong mga 'to? In your experience?
Yes, mostly single kasi introvert sila. Like I've mentioned, their personality
Ah,
type, they are mostly introvert. And sorry, I have to always go back to my study
sure,
bit
sure, sure.
kasi that's science-based, facts-based.
Mm.
We conducted that in the company. And dahil nga millennials sila, their characteristic is mas ano sa kanilang mag-travel, experience.
Yes, yes.
They wanna focus on their self more, self-love, self-care. Kaya nga 'di ba ang
Mhm.
tawag sa atin the selfie generation, 'di ba? At some point, parang yung alanganing
Oo,
Gen Z tsaka millennial tawag selfie
millennial.
generation.
Oo.
So, yes, most of them are single. Kasi
Hmm.
their personalities are may ambivert, may introvert. So, yon.
Oh.
I read an article somewhere, I forgot. Parang, ang sabi niya doon, the millennials can actually retire early than the baby boomers because of their financial decisions.
Hmm.
Iyon yung nabasa ko dun sa article eh. Mas afford ng millennials mag-retire early. Plus, this morning,
Yeah.
I also read an article saying that the baby boomers are having a hard time selling their houses. Kung mapapansin mo yung generation natin ngayon, minimalist, gusto
Mm.
ng maliit na bahay.
Oo, ganun
I
lang.
prefer a small house rather
Same,
than a big
same.
house.
Oo, kahit ako eh.
Yun, 'di ba? So may mga may mga iba-iba na talaga yung ating mga values, priorities.
Yeah.
So it's really good na siguro we're wiser, sana mas wiser tayo kaysa doon sa mga previous generation. But
Mm.
we should always, as a company, we should cultivate that culture of driving good financial decisions.
Yes. Okay. Priority shift. Galing na.
Yes,
Talagang
yun.
iba na per generation.
Mhm.
Mm. Ito ma'am, let's tap so kahit pahapya lang about social media. Kasi 'di ba
Mhm.
social media primarily are being used by companies for for sales and marketing. Yun yung ano ko before. But as time progress, 'di ba? Ngayon companies are taking advantage of those platforms. Facebook, LinkedIn,
Mhm.
YouTube, TikTok, 'di ba? To promote yung culture within the company. 'Di
Mhm.
ba? Nandiyan na yung they recognize employees, 'di ba? Mga
Mhm.
awards as well as yung mga CSR activities ni companies. Doon na rin naka ano, 'di ba? For them for them to show what's
Mhm.
happening in inside. So as an HR, ano yung role ninyo on that part when it comes to what is being seen by people? Ano yung
Mhm.
ano niyo doon? Parang ano yung touch ninyo doon?
Mhm. Ayun. For me, HR should be ambassador. Kailangan yung HR, hindi lang siya police, dapat ambassador siya. So, how can
Police
you sell
talaga.
something that you don't, 'di ba? Kasi yung dati police yan, yung HR, ano
Oo,
yan, nagdi-disciplinary
lahat.
action.
Oo.
'Di ba? Lahat parang takot kami diyan. Hindi kami principal's office, 'di ba? Friends mo kami. Ambassador tayo, partner tayo for you to have a positive employee experience. And branding, ito yung common problem ng iba eh. Nag-invest sila sa branding without investing in their culture. How can you have
Mm.
a great brand kung di mo maayos yung culture mo internally?
Yes.
Because if you have a great culture, kahit wala ka sa social media, people will always talk about you. People, ex-employees, former employees, present employees, they will always talk about you kasi you have a great culture. And sabi nga sa Bible, charity would always begin at home. So kaya 'di ba, ang kasama kami when we designed the HR strategic approach in the company, lagi ko talagang sinasama doon yung brand and culture. Actually,
Mm.
ang tawag na natin ngayon, hindi na compensation and benefit eh. We call it total reward statement.
Total
And when you build the
rewards.
total rewards, kailangan kasama doon not just the tangible rewards, may
Mm.
intangible. Meron doon yung well-being ng employee, like yung na-mention natin, physical, mental, emotional, financial. Sama mo rin yung branding tsaka culture. Kasi
Mm.
when you have a good culture, you don't need to spend a lot in branding. Kasi pag nag-post
Exactly.
ka dyan, people will provide positive feedback about you. So yun
Nice.
yung take ko about social media. And what's the role of HR? You foster a positive culture in the company. How? You be an ambassador, don't be a police. You represent
Mm.
the company, but more so you represent the employees. You have to
Yes.
bridge the gap between the management and the conflict of the employees. Hindi pwedeng pro-management ka lang, hindi pwedeng pro-employee ka lang. You have to strike a balance between the business and the people.
Yes. Agree. Agree. Two thumbs up on that, Miss Gladys. Ang galing. I feel your I feel your conviction nung sinasabi mo yun, and I can't agree more, especially sa culture. Kasi 'di ba, most companies sadly, ang culture they think is ano ba, beanbag, gyms,
Mm,
unlimited coffee, pizza.
yes.
Baka ang ano nila, ganun yung culture na but it's more than that. Actually, kahit hindi
Mm,
ka nga mag-ganun eh. 'Di ba? But if you know the basic needs of your employees, really reaching out to them, to understanding them, doon magsisimula yung good culture. That they will promote
mm,
themselves. Sa kahit hindi mo na nga yung branding, sila na mismo yung magiging
yes.
ambassador mo.
Mm,
Galing, galing.
mm,
It's no secret na si AI
mm.
has this immense and profound impact. Almost all industries, lahat, na, di ba?
Yes, agree.
Lahat ginagamit na, or lahat um, involved na si AI, di ba?
Mm,
And even HR are making use of AI, di ba? Kasi halimbawa, pag mag-create ka ng policies, or kahit hindi mo na HR, when you want to create a content, or you want to create something, mag-input ka lang ng prompt kay ChatGPT,
kay
or
ChatGPT.
kung ano mang AI, kasi AI madaming forms di ba? ChatGPT
Aha.
is one of them,
Mhm.
and it makes life really easier, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Hindi ka na bigyan mo lang siya ng prompt, then bahala na siya
Yes.
mag-create. Even the tone, 'di ba? Kung ano ba yung gusto mong tone, siya na yung magse-set up. So that's one. So how do you see AI and all its forms being a helpful tool for HR in improving yung mga processes?
First, I personally and firmly believe that AI is a tool. It's an ally, not an enemy.
Yeah.
Nung inintroduce siya way back sa call center, may mga usap-usapan that mawawalan ng work, 'di ba?
Oh.
Kasi mare-replace ng AI. Sabi ko, tool 'yan eh. It make, like you mentioned, it make our life easier. Actually, the possibilities in HR is endless pagdating sa AI. Kasi if
Mhm.
you use it wisely, it can transform the HR field talagang drastically kasi it improve various process eh. When you create policy, sabi mo nga, i-chat GPT mo lang. When you create poster, merong
Oo.
specific AI tool for that, di ba?
Mm.
It can help you sa recruitment. It can help you filter the candidates, the performance management, di ba? And learning and development as well. HR analytics, mas lalong kayang-kaya niya ibigay sa'yo. And when you have an accurate HR analytics, mas makakagawa ka ng program na mas specific dun sa need. So use
Exactly.
it as a tool, 'di ba? Huwag kang ma-threaten sa AI because it also has limitation. AI is not it's not designed to replace a human mind.
Mm.
It's designed to actually augment some of the things na hindi natin kaya at this point. And apart from that, is it makes our life easier. So, wag natin siya tingnan na kalaban na kukunin yung trabaho natin because it will never replace a human's brain, specifically our creativity.
Yeah.
So, yun yung tingin ko sa AI.
Ito, how is your company adapting to to the global war for talents? Kasi before, 'di ba? What, 20 years ago, hindi lang local companies yung nagko-compete sa Filipino talents, 'di ba?
Mhm.
I mean, sorry. Local companies lang yung nagko-compete sa Filipino talents. That was before, 'di ba? Pero ngayon, with the advent of work anywhere, work remotely, work from home, any companies from the world can tap Filipino talents, 'di ba?
Correct,
So
agree.
so how is your company adapting to this phenomenon?
Isa lang lagi ang sagot ko dyan. We
Mm.
have to focus and invest in our employee value proposition. What set you apart? Kahit anong pang company, what set you apart? And we take pride in saying that our culture is different. Talagang iyon yung focus namin. We make sure that our approach are strategic. It's aligned with the objective of the company. Meaning, we don't overpromise. Kung ano lang yung kaya namin, we remain transparent. We make sure that we have an open communication. Anyone can talk to the COO, anyone can talk to the CEO, anyone can talk to the HR manager. That's how we maintain our positive culture.
Galing.
So, my answer to that is we try to engage them, we try to attract them, and we retain them through the employee value proposition. Lagi lang namang, what can you bring to that? Anong meron ka na wala dun sa iba? We always tell them we're a small company. We cannot offer what the other big companies are offering in terms of the number of leaves, the incentive. But one thing we can assure you, the culture that we have is different. Imagine, pwede ka mag-message sa CEO anytime.
Oo, no, ang
Pwede
saya
ka mag-message
siguro
sa
nun.
COO. And kinakausap namin sila. Me, as HR, sometimes I would talk to them, they would consult me for some matter about their family. May ganun kami. Meron kaming HR talk. We can talk about anything under the sun. Meron kaming radio. Parang ganito. Every
Mm.
Friday, minsan may ganito kami. So, that's what we put our effort into.
Galing.
Improving our EVP, our employee value proposition.
Employee value proposition. Galing. I can only imagine how fun it is to work in a company na ganun nga, anytime you can freely talk to your boss. Kasi 'di ba, typically, 'di ba, sadly, ang setup kasi sa atin kapag boss parang hard to reach eh. May barrier, 'di ba?
Yes.
Yun yung setup, and there's something amiss sa culture pag ganun. When
Yes.
you instill parang not saying fear na
Mm.
but something na parang that person is beyond reach. Parang ganun yung
Mhm.
And like what you've shared, yung employee value proposition na if your bosses, if the top management are easy to reach, parang your employees can go directly to them without fear,
Mm.
na yung psychological safety is there. Parang ang saya, no?
Yes, and just to add when we create policies, during our HR talk, I present it to them. And they have the opportunity to provide feedback and comment, and we would actually change the policy. That's
Mm.
how we present. Hindi kami top to bottom. We hear you first, we do focus group discussion. You tell me what's wrong with the policy, we'll change it for you. Kung nakikita namin na wala naman siyang impact sa business, at kasi at the end of the day, you're creating the policy for the employees eh. And we make sure that we understand bakit meron tayong mga ganitong policies in place. That's how we do things in the company.
Nice. Sana all.
Maybe it's also because maliit pa kami eh. When the
Mm.
big companies kasi, they don't have that certain leeway to do that. Kasi medyo
Mm.
medyo marami ng pagdadaanan.
Yeah,
Siguro
yeah.
that's the beauty of a small company. Talagang family yung
Mm.
setting, yung
Pag
setup.
pag ganun pa lang kaliit yung kapag ganun lang yung number of employees mo, mas madaling i-implement yung ganun. Unlike
Yes.
if you're having thousands of or hundreds of
Yes.
employees
Pag may
tapos multiple
yes.
sites pa, 'di ba? Parang mas mahirap,
Yes.
mas
Oo.
challenge.
Pero it's not impossible. It's
Yeah.
possible. It's not impossible. Pero it will really take a lot of effort to do
Yes.
that. Pero hoping na yun yung ma-adapt ng HR industry ngayon or HR landscape.
Okay. Eto, if there's one misconception about HR that you want to disprove, what would it be? Kasi nasagot mo to kanina eh. Hindi
Yes.
kayo principal's office.
Yes.
so
We
go
go
go.
ahead, Homer, sorry.
Hindi,
We
baka may ano ka pa eh, bukod doon. Baka,
ah
kasi di ba, baka yun yung thinking lagi ng, kasi ako nga, di ba, like what I've said, ganun, very administrative yung thinking ko. And that's a misconception na talagang na-disprove ko na
ah,
hindi lang administrative si HR.
yes, hindi lang ulitin ko, we're not just policy enforcers. We should be ambassadors, not law enforcement. And kailangan kami yung go-to person nila pag may concern sila, may feedback sila, and we should be partner in resolving their work-related challenges. Pag ako tinanong mo sa elevator, an elevator pitch, and you ask me, and you will ask me to define HR, ang sasabihin ko sa'yo, enabler. Wala akong ibang sasabihin kung hindi enabler. Why? We
Ganda
should
nun ah.
enable, yun ang sagot ko lagi. Enabler tayo. We should bridge the gap. We should enable our employees to bring out the best in them. We should enable the management na makita ng employees kung how they care for them. Kasi laging susi ang HR eh. Pag may bagong policy, sino nag-implement? HR. Pag may problema ang management, sino ang humaharap? Si HR. We always hold the key. Kaya ang tawag ko sa HR, enabler.
Galing. Tatandaan ko yan. Enabler. Parang gusto ko ilagay sa LinkedIn profile ko yun, enabler. Kidding aside. Okay, ito, na-mention mo na kanina yung landscape. If there's one major change that you want to happen in the HR landscape dito sa Philippines, what would it be?
Ayun, ang problema sa Philippines, medyo bureaucratic tayo, maraming red tape,
Yeah.
'di ba? And hoping sana yung HR process should be simple. Should be simple, accessible, and flexible. Gone are the days na tinatago mo yung employee manual. Ilabas mo lahat ng manual. Make it easier for them to understand. In fact, in our company, yung policy namin, kino-convert namin into infographics. Because in this digital era, people don't want to read
To read.
long text, 'di ba? They want
Oo.
infographics. They want to be able to get the context right away kasi it's a fast-paced environment, 'di ba? And they don't have much time to read yung isang buong mahaba, tas mga IT developers pa. 'Di ba? Wala silang
Oo.
time diyan. So,
Yes.
it has to be simple, it has to be accessible. And like I've mentioned kanina, involve them para maging flexible. Hindi dahil sinabi to ng management, sinabi to ng HR, eto na yon. Again, you're representing the employees, you're enabling them to voice their concerns para maging flexible yung policy na mutually beneficial siya sa dalawang party. Let's try to simplify things for our employees. I hope that one day then, in addition, HR, also the employers, will consider or look beyond academic achievements. We must hire people based on talent and skills, not just job titles and academic credentials. So people will focus on building skills, not just their CV or resume. Kasi ang nangyari, we're very particular in building our CVs kasi it's like sa IT field, we look beyond the academic credential. Sabi nga, 'di ba, education will get you to the door, but you hold the key to open the door.
Exactly.
Ako, I'm an ambassador, I'm a promoter of education. But the thing is, sadly, sa ibang company, they still look for the gumraduate ba ng ganito to, ng may bachelor's degree ba to. Let's look beyond that. Let's see the potential of the individual. And sana dumating tayo sa ganung point. Kasi working with with different culture, napansin ko, oo, maganda yung may degree, pero tinitingnan din nila kasi yung skills. Tinitingnan nila yung expertise, yung experience ng tao.
Yes. My last question, if there's one message that you want to tell people who wants to venture sa human resources field, what will be your message?
Sige, summarize ko na lang lahat ng sinabi ko kanina. So,
Sige.
HR is more, to all the future HR practitioner, HR is more than policies. It's about making employee experience positive. And you have to understand that your role is significant as you are partner in shaping a great workplace. You hold the key, like I've mentioned, you are an enabler to bridging the gap between management conflict and employees. So that's all I can say to all the future HR practitioners out there.
Nice. Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Gladys. But before we end the podcast, we have this short game. Familiar ka ba sa Fast Talk?
Yes, familiar ako sa
Okay.
past.
So let's do HR Champions Podcast Fast Talk edition.
Sige, gusto ko yung
Okay.
mga fast talk.
Sige. Work from home or on-site?
Work from home.
Yeah, okay. Company outing or Christmas party?
Christmas party.
Talaga.
Mhm.
Empathy or competency?
Empathy.
Of course. Recruitment or training?
Training.
Talaga. Uniform or dress down?
Dress down.
Microwave or ref? Sa pantry.
Ref. Ref.
Okay. Next. Windows or Mac?
Mac.
Hmm. Presenter or part of the audience?
Part of the audience.
Okay. Calendar or email?
Calendar.
Okay. And then Facebook or LinkedIn?
LinkedIn.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Gladys. Can't say thank you enough. Ang galing. I've learned so much from what you have shared. Sayang short yung oras, but if may opportunity, maybe we can do another podcast. So,
No problem.
if there are people who wants to network with you, what's the best way?
LinkedIn. Just look for Gladys Punzalan, People and Culture Manager. Na
Okay.
ginagawa rin na rin dating site yata. Ang
Ganun
LinkedIn.
ba? Okay.
Yes.
Okay lang ba if
So,
I can post your LinkedIn page here
sure.
sa
No
screen
problem.
para
Yes.
they can reach out to you.
Mhm.
Okay? So this has been your HR Champions podcast. See you on our next episode.
Thank you. Bye.